Now we are live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Sorry about the delay there. Still getting used to this new setup since we're not using StreamYard for this. So I'll just reiterate the introduction. We have 36 coasters that were submitted for the Giga Coaster competition, the second competition we are doing in the Unload Station Discord server. And this is going to be an interesting way of doing it. We have everything numbered, as you can see. So the first coasters we're going to do are all 26 of the Planet Coaster 2 submissions, and they're done in order with a couple exceptions because there were some late submissions and things that were missed. Then there is one coaster from Planet Coaster 1, and then 9 coasters from No Limits 2. So we're going to try to keep things brief, just so you guys are aware if you haven't watched one of these before. The way we rate these coasters is going to be based on 4 different categories. There's realism, smoothness, theming / presentation, and creativity. Realism and smoothness are each 10 points. Theming / presentation will be 5 points, and creativity will be 5 points for a total of 30 points possible. And we will be calculating this as we go with the winners decided at the end. So without further ado, I'm going to assume we're all good on YouTube and Discord for me to get started with coaster number 1, which we're going to load up here. And while we're loading it up, I will read the story that we have for this coaster. It comes from Adrenaline Rush Coaster Media. It is called Draco. And the story goes, "Welcome to the village of Norsberger, or Norberger, I pronounced it wrong. We have been struggling in dealing with dragons as of late, and as you can see, many of our ballista crossbows ready to take aim and hunt a dragon down. There has been one dragon amongst this village that has been causing too much chaos amongst the town that we can't seem to bring her down. We call her Draco. During the day, she soars with her majestic orange and red hue, but at night she is a blossoming red glow that is easy to see, but hard to aim down as she moves too quickly. To prepare the ballistas, we sound off a blinking light in the sky to signal warning to the village to take cover, but we hope you can join the fight with us by entering Draco's cave and slowing her down. Perhaps corner her into a waterfall back by the boat dock. The waterfall is huge. You can't miss it. That is where her cave is. Luckily, she has not destroyed a boat yet." I'm going to ask for somebody else to read the rest of this because I'm losing my voice already. There's a little bit more that actually describes the ride itself.
Wait, I don't even have this pulled up.
You
sent it to me, right?
Where'd you
Yeah,
go?
This is on the Google Doc.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm-
okay. Oh, I see it. Oh
It's at
my
the very-
gosh, bro.
So start with ride and then just read the rest of that.
Okay. Outside of the village that Draco resides in, this Outamax Giga Coaster itself is based on the 3 most popular dragons in Norse mythology, and each of these 3 dragons play a role in the coaster's layout. Part 1. Fafnir. I think, maybe that's how you say it.
That sounds about right.
The most popular dragon in Norse mythology, Fafnir, is an unsustainable desire for treasure, cursed treasure to be exact. Fafnir will fly high above entire lands, waters, and mountains while sniffing out any ounce of cursed treasure and bring it back to his cave. Fafnir will do anything just to get its musty claws on some treasure and keep it for its own. Part 2, Nidhogg, a scary dragon that eats Yggdrasil, aka the world of tree. Nidhogg symbolizes nothing but decay and chaos, oftentimes finding itself low to the ground, scoring at any opportunity for a meal or to hide away in darkness. He can reach places that most dragons can't. Part 3. God, you're giving me the hardest names, Antonio. Jormungandr.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll go with that.
Jormungandr.
Jormungander. I don't know.
A sea serpent so long that its head and tail are held together as one large bodies of water are where it resides.
Okay, so as we're listening to this lovely story from Aaron, I am playing the POV. You guys are watching. So we are going to be rating it, like I said, off of those 4 categories, and the first of which is realism. I will let the coaster continue to play out before we get into it. But this ride is, as you can tell, a classic kind of old-gen Intamin Giga Coaster. Think something like Millennium Force, obviously inspired by a few other rides as well. And just so you guys are aware, when we're looking at the realism and smoothness categories and what the differences are between those, realism goes for not just the coaster itself, but also the way supports are oriented and the way that the elements are taken in terms of forces. That's why we were watching with the G-force monitors up right here on the side. So the difference between that and smoothness is more based on the track profile itself and how the elements flow from one to the other. But taking a look at the realism here again, this is a category that is out of 10 points. This is fairly realistic. As far as like a layout that Intamin would do. I mean, this follows a lot of the hallmarks that you'd see on something like Millennium Force, especially this first half. I mean, this is like textbook Millennium Force, kind of crossed a little with maybe Superman the Ride. So I'm probably going to give this, I wouldn't say it's like the most realistic coaster in the world, that's for sure, especially compared to some of the other coasters we have coming up. But I will give credit where credit is due. I'll give this one a 7 for realism.
I'm gonna go slightly above. I'm gonna go 8 because it is pretty realistic, like what they would do. And the first two elements, you got classic Millennium Force, and then it kind of veers off into its own thing, and I like how it interacts with everything. I'm gonna give it an 8. It looks really good.
I would give realism a 7. It's nothing too crazy that Intamin wouldn't do, but I feel like they would have better options in the situation where they might go with different elements here and there. But overall, it's very solid for Intamin.
That gives
8,
us
right?
yeah, you said 8, right, Aaron?
I said, oh God, I think I said 7.
Okay, so cool.
Okay, so that gives us an average score of a 7.67 for the realism category. Next up is smoothness, and this is where we're going to be looking at things more like the banking and like the general flow of the attraction. And I'm noticing that some of the banking on the ride, just from my perspective, is maybe not quite as much as it should be, especially this first turn here. It feels like it could definitely use a little bit of banking, and some of the lateral Gs are just a little too high for my liking. But overall, it flows very well. It feels like an old gen Intamin, so I'm going to give it a 7 as well for this category.
I'm gonna give it an 8 for my smoothness. Like I said, the only thing that really bothered me was that first overbank. I feel like it should have been banked a little bit more. But other than that, it flows well, it's smooth, transitions well, does really well. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Um, I'd give it a 7. There's maybe like a few profiling issues, but overall, it's quite smooth.
So that is going to equal out to a 7.33 for smoothness, and I made a mistake. It was 7.33 as well for realism. The next category is going to be theming slash presentation, and for that, I'm actually going to get off the ride and kind of fly around myself. As I said, this is only a 5-point category as opposed to a 15-point category from the first one. So knowing that we were building Giga coasters for this one, we wanted to give people a little bit of a break for the theming since it is very difficult to do. But I don't think Antonio got the memo because he went all the way with the theming for this. I mean, as far as the entrance plaza goes, this looks fantastic. I love the dragon and the sign right here. It looks really cool. This waterfall looks fantastic. And the whole ride course is decorated with tunnels and all kinds of different scenery. So again, given the fact that not much scenery was expected, I'm going to give this a 5. And that's even without any custom supports from the looks of it. But honestly, this didn't really need custom supports. I mean, maybe there's a few too many supports here, but honestly, not a big deal. I'm going to give it a 5.
I'm gonna give it a 5 as well. He went with he made an entire land out of this thing. He has a whole custom sign. He even has a an extended disco or extended tango ride over here.
Yep,
With
that you go through nonetheless,
They go
which
through
is
it,
crazy.
which is really cool. I like that he put a lot of effort to this. I love this. I'm gonna give it a 5 as well.
I would give this is theming, right?
Theming slash presentation.
Okay. I would give it a 4. Overall very good, but there's like, you can see a few of the hills in the back. Maybe if you put rocks or more trees on it, it could be better. Maybe more stuff on the pathway. I feel like the pathway kind of stands out a lot, but otherwise it's very solid.
So that is going to equal out to a total of 4.67 for theming slash presentation. And finally, we have creativity. Now, this is based not just on the theme of the ride, but mainly on the layout and overall design. So I'm not going to give it full points because this is very much so inspired off of other rides, but I feel like that's going to be a trend you're going to see throughout all of this because all of these rides are inspired by other rides. So to get a full score for creativity, they're really going to have to go above and beyond. But I do like the second half of this for its creativity. It's a very unique layout, not like what we've seen from other Gigas, but it doesn't sacrifice quality through that. So I'm going to give it a 4 for creativity.
I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. The first couple elements are inspired by a Millennium Force. However, it like veers off after, and it kind of turns into its own thing. So that's what I really like about this. So I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'm gonna give it a 5. I don't think there could be anything else really done to be more creative with it. It's very good,
So
creativity wise.
that is going to average out to a 4.33 for creativity and a total score of a 23.67 out of the possible 30 points. So great job, Antonio. So really, really solid submission. And next up is coaster number 2, which will be revealed once we load on in.
By the way,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna start timing this because I think that was already like what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, that was probably a little longer than we want to spend. Again, we have 36 coasters, so we're going to try to go through it fairly quickly. And this next coaster that we have is going to be Peppermint Pass, made by Discord user ALEF. I'm going to assume that's pronounced Aleph or Aleph. Aaron, do you want to read the brief story there, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah. As you climb up the lift and go down, you are tossed into heavy combat between the rival pirates groups and a mysterious water creature. The ride gives you an fast-paced view from the sky while also getting close to the action and flying past rockwork and building at insane speeds. The ride features various fire and water effects, adding to all chaos down on the ground. Ride at night in bold text.
Oh, okay. Let me stop that right there then and switch it to a nighttime POV. Here, let's switch it to 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. Do that. So we are going to play the start of the POV at least as the story is being read, just for the sake of brevity. I think I put it on test. There we go. So this is definitely one of the more unique layouts of the bunch, that's for sure. You got this little pre-lift section with some actual airtime on these bunny hills. And I'm going to skip the lift hill just for the sake of getting it going. This is the nighttime POV as you requested. Some people did request a nighttime POV, so I will honor those requests. But I will start because I actually have watched this already. I've watched all of these. And the first category, of course, is realism. And as you'll notice, and I'm not trying to be harsh or anything, but this is far from the most realistic coaster out there. The G's, I'm watching it go like between 7 and 8 and negative laterals. It's crazy. So for that reason, I'm probably going to have to give it a 2 for realism. This kind of reminds me of that mobile game Coaster Crazy from the back in the day, like something you built in there.
I appreciate going all out. However, I don't think this roller coaster would be able to be built in any sort of way. You'd have to basically redo a lot of it. So I'm gonna have to agree with Colin and give it a 2.
Yeah, we could keep the two trend going. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say that you guys haven't said? It's really just like a coaster would never do this. I'm sorry, but the Outer Bank Helix.
It's like the Falcon's Flight, like original creation. It's kind of what this reminds me of.
Yes.
But next up, we have smoothness. It's going to be a similar story here, except you're going to get more points because a lot of these elements are at least smooth. Like, they flow well enough. But I can't excuse the unrealistic aspects of this ride. So I'm going to give you a 4 for smoothness.
Basically, just read your mind. I was thinking 4 as well for smoothness. While it is smooth, it's kind of the way everything kind of flows. It goes in like realisms again. So you can only do so much when your layout is that. So I'm gonna give it a 4 as well.
Okay, if you have to judge the coaster based off of smoothness, like overall it is quite smooth. I would give it a 6 because there's no points where you're like jolting around heavy. It's just like a coaster would never really do any of this. But
yeah.
Otherwise, it's a 6.
Next category, sorry, that is going to be a 4.67 out of 10 average score for smoothness. Next up is theming / presentation. You will get some good points here. This, again, is a 5-point category. It's definitely more terrain focused, and I think the snowy kind of nature of it adds to that. But at the end of the day, there's not really that many scenery pieces, but it looks good. So for that reason, I'll give you a 3.
I'm gonna give you a 4 for this, as it looks really nice with the whole winter theme and the whole terrain around it. It looks really nice. Good job on the theming. Give you a 4.
I would give it A 6. I think the theming's fine. I like the terrain.
This is a 5-point category.
It really just goes
Above and beyond.
fine, I'll give it a 5. It has a state. Well, actually, maybe a 4.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I saw the station and I was like, oh yeah, it looks cool where the train goes, but it's not built all the way down.
There's a little bit of this too up here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see the pirates, right? The description says something about pirates. Yeah, the rival between pirates, groups, and mysterious water creature.
I'm not sure about any pirates here.
Or water. Is there water in this?
Actually, this might be the wrong description. Now that I'm looking at it, this doesn't really match the ride at all.
Oh my god. Hold on. Wait. Someone put it in the showcase chat. So I think it was Rusty. You gotta go.
Let's see. I'm not seeing it. So apparently we read the script for the pirate ride, as is evidenced by that.
Or is it? It's in coasters. Wait, I think I can.
It'll be in submissions. Let me try and find it.
An intimate Giga coaster with Christmas/Snow Mountain theme. I tried to make a very unique Giga and come up with my own elements. It was fun to make, so I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It was definitely fun to watch, that's for sure. But yeah, where are we at in terms of ratings? We just finished theming/presentation, so that's going to give you a 3.67 out of 5. And the final category is creativity. And I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due. This is very creative. So you're going to get a 5. It is creative. Doesn't mean it's necessarily phenomenal, but it is creative.
It is 100% creative, I'll give you that. I'll give it a 5 as well.
I'll give it a 4.
Equal it out a little bit. That'll average out to a 4.67 for creativity and a total score of 15 out of 30, so exactly a 50%. Which, given how this coaster definitely could never exist, that's pretty good for points, I'm not going to lie. We're going to move very quickly over to coaster number 3.
Do you guys want to start rating sooner? Because that took 6 minutes.
Yeah, we probably should move a little faster with the rating, just for the sake of time. So I'm going to hop right on the coaster and get it going. So, this coaster is built by KevBNN, and it is called Titan. So, Aaron, would you like to read the very brief description that they provided?
Yeah. Titan. A B&M Giga inspired by Fury 325 and Leviathan. But right off the bat, I am noticing on a hyper, which I will hurt in my rating on realism, just because we've never seen a B&M Giga with the stagnant seating.
To be fair, I did give that as an option, just to be a little unique.
Oh, okay.
But, well, we will see how the layout goes. And so far, we're looking at some pretty strong negatives on that first hill. Valleys are pretty good in terms of positives, but the airtime is definitely strong. Seeing some air theming through the layout as well here. I'll watch through the POV first and then get into the rating, and then hopefully try to do the rating fairly quickly. Interesting element here, kind of like the treble clef on Fury. Definitely see the inspiration points for this ride. I like the trenches. The powerful airtime. Interesting little turn there. Lots of trims. Switchback hill. It's a long ride. It looks like we're ending with a behemoth / intimidator style helix and an airtime hill into the brake. So first category is, of course, realism, and I do think for the most part this is actually a fairly realistic layout. I think there's a lot of points where the G-forces spike, and that's probably my problem. So given that this is a category out of 10, I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm going to give it an 8 for realism. I think this could be built. My points, mainly, they're just going to get docked off because of smoothness. So, and we'll get into that. But it's going to be an 8 for realism for me. I think I see this beam belt.
I would give this a 7. Like, it's in the realm of possibilities, but I feel like B&M might go with something different when given the option.
So that's going to average out to a 7.33 for realism, just like the first one. Smoothness is next, and I think this is where you're going to lose points for me. You can definitely see a lot of the jagged transitions, even watching from off-ride. You can see that I could have just used a little bit more attention from the smoothing tool. It kind of reminds me of something I'd built in Planco 1. So I'm going to give this I'll give it a 6 for smoothness.
I'm gonna also give it a 6, because it feels like kind of like an arrow in some parts, but like on a modern B&M. So I would just say recommend just using the smoothing tool a little bit more, and then that would have been good. So yeah, 6 as well.
I'll go with a 5. It's like right in the middle of like being rough and smooth.
Fair judgment. It's going to give you a 5.67 for smoothness. Next up is theming / presentation, and, well, there's no station. I actually had to do this just to make the ride open. You did do the little queue and the little stairs there. And there's a couple blueprint scenery pieces plopped around the layout, so you at least put that in, but I am still going to be giving you a 1 for theming / presentation. There's just really nothing to work with here, and honestly, I don't even know what the theme is.
I'm gonna have to agree. It's gonna get a 1 for me, as there's like essentially the bare minimum done, just on flat land with some scenery pieces plopped around like every now and then, which is like essentially a bare minimum. I'm gonna give you a 1.
I would give it a 2, because in my mind, bare minimum is like literally doing nothing. And they put a few trees and like a windmill. It's nothing too crazy.
That's fair. That's going to give you a 1.33 for smooth or theming / presentation. Finally, is creativity. This is not the most creative thing in the world, but you still did pack in some interesting elements. Like, this is definitely not like any of the other B&M Gigas, but it's not so far out of the realm of possibility. So I'll give you a 3 for creativity.
I'm gonna go with 3 as well for creativity, as I'm gonna give it a 4 actually, because I feel I could see something like most of like the elements being like unique, because B&M Gigas, they only do so much like now, but I feel like they took like a good spin on this, so I'd give it a 4.
I'll go to a 3.
That is going
Nothing much to
to
say.
average out to a 3.33 for creativity and a total score of a 17.67 out of 30, which puts you in second place currently out of the 3 coasters. Nice job. Next up is coaster number 4, wherever it is. What's up here? There it is. So while we're loading it up, I'll read the description real quick. This comes from ZM Art and is called Blue Angel. Welcome to Pensacola Beach, home of the legendary United States Navy aerial demonstration. Oh god, I butchered that. Home of the United States Navy aerial demonstration team, better known as the Blue Angels. You have been selected to fly along with the Angels today, experiencing high Gs and insane speeds as you whip around Pensacola's dunes. Just try not to make too many high-speed passes. Legend has it that if you stand in the queue long enough, you can hear jets passing. Also, take a shopping trip at Afterburners to take home some memories of your ride. So, this right here is an Intamin wing-style seating, but I would kind of look at this more as being something like Hyperion at Energylandia. You'll see a few of them that are like this. New-gen Intamin Giga concept. And right off the bat, these Gs are very aggressive. There's a lot of spikes of very high and spikes of very low in terms of negatives and positives. So that will definitely be something that is taken into consideration. I will say, just first impressions, the area looks really nice. I mean, some would say it's maybe just the brush, and there are some floating pieces here and there. But I do think that overall it looks nice. And we are going to go look at the plaza as well, because it looks like there's definitely some detail put in over there. Kind of reminds me of Flying Aces if it was a Giga Coaster, honestly. Very interesting layout. I think that's... Oh, no, not yet. That's the end. That was Blue Angel. Just before I start reviewing, this is the area over here. There is a little gift shop as well. Very nice. So first category, of course, is realism. I'm going to be honest, this is not the most realistic ride in the world. These Gs that you're experiencing on this ride just to take a look here. The highest positive is a 6.03. Lowest negative is a negative 2.67, which is way out of the realm of possibility. But I do think the layout could exist. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of Flying Aces, but it would need a heavy, heavy modification. So I'm going to give it a 4 for realism.
Vinny's next, right? I can
Vinny is
go
next.
to save time.
I would like to give it a 5 because it definitely could be done. However, there would just need to be some major modifications. Probably make the hills a little bit smaller and like more drawn out.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 6. There's just a few profiling issues, but outside of that, I think it's pretty realistic.
So a floating on-ride camera right here. So that is going to give you a 5 for realism. Next up is smoothness, and it's going to be a similar situation here where some of the elements are smooth, but there's also a good amount of jaggedness and just some wonky transitions and weird flow. So I'm going to give you I'll give you a 5 for smoothness.
I'm gonna go 5 as well for smoothness. There's some elements that flow really well. There's other moments that are kind of don't really flow well. So let's give it a little bit average 5.
I would give it a 6. You know, same thing on my realism. How like the elements are realistic, but it's mainly the profiling that's done on them, which is bad.
That's going to average out to a 5.33 for smoothness. Next up is theming / presentation, and you definitely put in some effort, that is for sure. Even if it's just the brush and there are some floating things here and there, not that big of a deal. You also have a nice tiny little plaza out here for it with the queue. So I'll give you a 4 for the theming / presentation.
I'm gonna agree with the 4. Actually, I'm gonna go with the 3 since I did give one of the others a 4 before. It's really nice. The terrain's really nice. Some trees around, some rock work, and a good little process. I'm gonna give it a 3.
I really like the vibe of the thing, how it's kind of on the sand. I'll give it a 4.
Fair. That's going to average out to a 3.67 for theming / presentation. Finally is creativity. And I'm going to give this a 3. It's not super creative. It's not uncreative. It's pretty much right in the middle of the pack, if you ask me.
I'd say it's pretty creative for the most part. There's some really unique elements, and I'll give it a 4.
Creativity, I'd give it a 3. Nothing too crazy or outstanding that you're like, wow, that's so cool. But it's also nothing like terrible, like, oh, this sucks.
That is fair. That's going to give it a 3.33 average score for creativity and a 17.33 out of 30 overall, which puts it in 3rd place out of the 4 we have done so far. Next up is coaster number 5. I also want to give a huge shout out to everyone on YouTube. There's currently 100. Oh, wait, no, I'm reading that wrong. There's 34 concurrent viewers on YouTube, as well as 19 people in the Unload Station showcase. So thank you, all of you, for viewing. Next up is Cyberpunk 2077 by Sexy Shark. Aaron, you want to read that very brief description while I get the POV going?
Yep. Shark. Oh, the name is actually Sexy Shark.
That is the name of the submitter.
Oh.
They did not name the coaster that.
The coaster name is Cyberpunk 2077 after like the game, I guess. The description is next gen intimate model inspired by i305, except it's almost 400 feet tall. Good looking coaster at night and day.
You have it on at night, and it looks, I will say, it looks really good with this lighting on the lift hill. I don't know if you caught it, but there was a inversion right out of the station. Not really a heartline roll, it was more of a inline twist because there was not much heartlining to it. Let's see how this goes.
Oh!
Ooh! Hey, that would be a killer right there. It's a little floater.
Is this on-ride audio?
Yes. This is on-ride audio. I hope it's not copyrighted, but this is on-ride audio.
The Hollywood playlist started playing.
I hope not. Oh, whoa, okay.
Oh my god.
It's an interesting one. Oh. Okay. Interesting. A little trim here.
Trim? Yeah.
Hyperia, little twist thing there. Oh. Oh, okay.
Block break?
I don't know how you'd stop there, but
It's fine.
it's alright. Oh. It's a lateral heaven ride right here.
It loves to overbank when it doesn't have to.
Yes. Fly through here. I love the theming. That I will say. Theming's awesome. Is this a launch? I guess it needed a little boost.
Is that allowed?
It'll be fine. Oh, well, it trims anyway, so it's whatever.
It needs the boost just to get over that hill.
It's a long ride. Wow. Another trim. And it looks like that is the end of the ride. Yeah, I thought that was long. 8,200 feet of track. I did not actually look at what the train is on this. Is it a 4 across or 2 across? I'm curious. It is... Oh, okay. A 2 across. It's the new gen trains. Okay. So the first category is going to be realism, which is out of 10. And, well, it's not the most realistic, I'll be honest. There's also this floating spaceship, which I guess works in Planet Coaster. But for the sake of the ride itself, pull some crazy G's that would never happen. Also, really, really thick supports here. I'm going to give you a 5. I'll be generous. I'll give you a 5.
I'm gonna give it a 4 for realism, as you had me in the beginning, but then towards the end, that's where it started to become a little unrealistic. So that's why the points are docked. I'm gonna give it 4.
I'll give it a 4. It's definitely not the most realistic thing, but it's like if a company was given a lot of money and they really wanted this, the manufacturer probably would do it.
They'd find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 4.33 for realism. Next up is smoothness. It's not the most abrasive thing we've seen so far in terms of smoothness, but the strange elements and crazy forces do kind of hit it. So I'll give you a 6 for the smoothness.
I'm gonna give the smoothness a 4 because there's excessive banking in spots it doesn't need it, and then there's spots where it needs the banking and there's not enough of it. That's why I give it 4.
For smoothness, I mean, overall it is smooth, but it does a lot of overbanked turns where it doesn't need to be overbanked, which if you just spam the smooth tool, I think it like undoes that. I could be wrong. I could just be an idiot, but it clearly wasn't smoothed enough, so I would give it a 3.
That's going to average out for smoothness to be a 4.33. I also want to just make note of this because this is not going to factor into theming or presentation, but it did hit the realism. Some of these custom supports, while I definitely appreciate it, a lot of them don't have proper connectors to the track, so there are some where they're just kind of floating like this one. So just something to note there. But for theming slash presentation, you're definitely getting a 5. The theming is awesome, and I love how unique this layout is and how much it incorporates the light effects and everything. Ignoring the realism, this is definitely a 5 for theming.
Are custom supports theming or realism?
I would classify that more as the realism.
Okay, cool. So theming wise, this is really cool then. I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'd give it a 4.
What'd you give your rating, Colin?
I was a 5.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
That will average out to a 4.33 once again for theming slash presentation. And finally, creativity. I mean, can't lie, it's a very creative ride, that's for sure. So yeah, you're gonna get a 5 for creativity.
I'm gonna give it yeah, I'll give it a 5 for creativity. It's really creative. I like it.
Just to be different, I'll give it a 4. Sorry.
I think that's going to average out. That's a different number finally. You're now getting a 4.67 for the creativity, which is a total of a 17.67 out of 30, which actually ties you with coaster number 3. So you were tied for 3rd place / 4th place currently. Next up is coaster number 6.
That was good. That was around 4 minutes.
Okay, we're
I
getting
think
better.
if we can keep that up.
I think the key is if we have you read the thing like starting now while I get the POV ready.
Okay.
That'll
this
work
is
well.
Sunday Rider. Okay, yeah, it is. This is the Hollywood Studios outro theme coaster called Time Lapse. The story or the description of the ride is: Welcome to the Columbus Mountains. You were on a field trip with your school. Your school starts climbing up the mountain, but you see a strange circular object near the top, so you sprint towards the object and trip and fall into it. Trip and fall? Whatever. You now realize that you have traveled back in time and you have to try to escape unnatural things. Weird stuff start appearing, so you realize how dangerous the past really was. You see the same unnatural object again and you go back into it, a return to present day.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely see the theming elements on display. Here's a Intamin old style Giga Coaster, again like Millennium Force. We'll let the POV play out before we start judging. See that giant dragon over there flailing around. And I'm thinking, this is music I'm hearing. Yes, this does have a custom audio score. Trims. And that is the end of the ride. Okay, so I do appreciate the audio score for everyone that's doing it. Thank you a lot for that. It's very cool. Realism, first category. It's definitely more realistic than the last one. There's some elements where I feel like you lose me quite a bit, but for the most part, it's fairly well done, so I'll give you a 7.
I'm gonna give this an 8. It's, for the most part, very realistic and something what could be done.
It's very difficult because the layout overall is pretty real, but like I'm just looking at the drop. I don't know if come on, the coaster's 300 feet, and I mean I guess Intimidator 305 kind of does the same thing, but you kind of level out very early on. I would give it a 6.
That'll average out for realism to a 7 out of 10. Next up is smoothness, and it's going to be a similar boat to realism. This is a fairly smooth coaster, like there's not much jerkiness or jagginess. There's some moments where the banking isn't quite high enough, and I think that's where you're going to lose me a little, but overall, it's pretty solid. I'll give you a 6.
I give this coaster a 7 out of 10 for smoothness. It's, for the most part, really well done. Just like some moments that could use some better banking, and so the transitions for the most part were good. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. It's mainly the banking.
I'll give this another 6. Colin already said what I was thinking.
It's going to be a 6.33 for smoothness. Next up is theming / presentation, and you have a nice story that does tie in. You can see the 2 portals and everything. Got the dragon, some trees. Definitely heavy on the brush, but I do like the terrain work. So I'm going to give you a 3.
Give this a 4 for theming. I think it ties in really well to story, and for the most part, it's done really well.
I'll also give this a 4.
That is going to equal out to a 3.67. Finally, creativity. It's a pretty interesting layout, especially based on the terrain it uses. So for that reason, I will give you a 4.
I'll give you a 5 out of 5. This is really creative. I like it. Hold on.
Yeah, me too. I really like the idea of it, of like, oh, you travel through time and you have close encounters with all these things from the past. I like it.
So with that, that is going to be a 4.67 for creativity and a total score of a 21.67 for coaster number 6. That's actually one of the higher scores. I think that puts you in 2nd place. Good job. Next up is going to be coaster number 7. Just a reminder, we have a total of 36 coasters. Yeah, so we're gonna move through them fairly quickly. Aaron, you want to hit us with the intro for this one?
Yeah. This is Amethyst, right?
Yes, this is Amethyst by Pizia.
Okay. Get ready for this.
Very long.
Realistic Six Flags type of B&M Giga.
And you start off with the realism right away with that transfer track, just like Fury. Got to give points for that for sure. Transfer tracks do help quite a bit. And here we go into the layout. Let's see how this goes. Nice G's. Oh, okay. A little intense there. Interesting element there. It's like a perfect floater hill right there. Very lateral heavy ride. Get this dive into the trench. Though not quite the trench yet. This is the trench. So right off the bat, I'm noticing like you have these trenches and this definite aesthetic you have with the ride, but there's no theme or story really given with it, so I don't know what to associate that with, but I do like the visuals. It looks cool.
I will agree, but I do have a gripe with the trench, and it's that the trench is kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's like you can just make the tunnel. You don't need the overpass. Unless you want the near miss and like you want maintenance walking on it. But I mean, overall, I don't think it hurts it that much. Look at the mag
God,
brakes.
okay.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah.
I think that was just
Whoa.
I'm not gonna give you flack for that. I think that was just that is definitely a Planet Coaster problem. That's not your fault. That's Planet Coaster being stupid. I've had this glitch before. But excusing that, we'll start off with realism. And this is a very realistic ride overall. There's just a few moments, like the tops of these lateral heavy moments, where it's just going too fast and it's a little too aggressive. But otherwise, this is a very realistic ride. I'm going to give you an 8.
I'm going to give it a 8 as... I'm going to give it a 9, actually. It's fairly realistic. You just have to, like, work out a little bit of the small stuff. But for the most part, it's done really well.
Yeah, I would give it a 9. Overall, very, very realistic. The first element after the drop, the weird turnaround, I don't think that's the most realistic thing that B&M would do. And the trench is kind of unnecessary, but like those are two very minor gripes, along with the fact that like some of the profiling could use some work. But, overall, very good.
I'm going to give you an 8.67 for realism. Next up is smoothness. And you're going to get an 8 for me on this because for the most part, it's a very smooth ride. Just some of those transitions that are super aggressive are a little too aggressive, and that kind of couples with both realism and smoothness. So
I'm gonna give smoothness an 8. It's just a couple moments that probably you could use the smoothing tool for to fix those transitions. It was kind of like there was one of the hills I noticed. It was kind of like arrow moment where it goes way too steep in and then pulls out like quickly. So I'm gonna give it an 8 for that.
Can you zoom into the first set of the brakes when you hit the brake run? Because I think this guy has some weird mod where the certain brakes turn into the magnet brakes instead of the friction brakes. And I was like wondering how I thought that was a scenery piece at first because I opened this on my own. I was like, oh, I want to copy that, but I think it's a mod because it was like built in with the track piece. I like that a lot. I'm giving smoothness an 8.
something I do want to note as a bit of a doc on realism, I know we already graded it. Some of these clearances are very not realistic, especially some of the rock ones. Just something to note, this one as well. They're just a little too close. But that is going to give you an 8 for smoothness. Next up is theming / presentation. The plaza looks nice. It's pretty simple. You got a nice little seating area with some food. You've got a station built up, and of course you do have the whole transfer shed and a bit of a queue as well. Not necessarily having that like crazy wow factor some of the other ones have had necessarily, but it is a very well done, clean creation. It's a 4 for me.
I'm gonna give this a 4 as well. It's done really well. There's even a transfer track. The only reason I'm docking a point is there's no story to it. I wish there was a story. If there was a story, I would have given it a 5 easily.
I'll give it a 3 just because I can kind of tell that a brush was used for the bushes on the ground. But I do like... Wait, did I say 3 or 4?
3.
You said 3.
I'll give it a 4 because of the custom supports.
Yes, the custom supports are a very nice touch. You can definitely tell they are custom. So that is going to average out to a 4 for theming / presentation. Finally, you got creativity. And I will say, it's a very creative B&M layout. Considering, there's only a couple to pull from, You did something that stays realistic while also being unique, so I'm going to give you a 4.
You're getting the perfect 5 for me in creativity. Well done.
If I would love it if I could do decimals, but I'll give it a 5 for creativity.
That is going to equal out to a 4.67 for creativity and an overall
place.
score of a 25.33, which, yes, is currently first place. So great job to you. Next up, we are moving on to coaster number 8. It's first place by about 1.5 points, for those of you wondering, over the first coaster.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
This is Apex.
This is Apex, yes.
Okay. The description of the ride is: the ship screamed as it fell from the sky, tearing through the clouds and crashing deep into the woods. Trees burned with an eerie orange glow as orange aliens emerged from the wreckage. Hostile, sharp, and furious, before they could reach us, humans arrived, calm and battle-ready, pulling us to safety and fighting back with flashes of blue light. Then the teal aliens descended, beautiful and reassuring, claiming they were protectors, and that the orange ones were the true threat. We believed them. That belief cost us everything. The green robots sent by the humans stood guard until they began exploding, one by one. Sabotaged by the teal aliens, who were never allies but predators, the forest erupted into war. Orange and teal aliens tearing into each other while humans fought to save us. When the ship finally detonated, the woods fell silent again. The humans were gone, the robots were ash, and deep in the tree something teal still glows. Waiting, watching, pretending to be good. This was named Apex.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to play this POV twice because there's a lot to unpack here. This is a very interesting ride. Very theming focused.
And then so the story was that, and then the guy that made this, or girl, said, "Enjoy this spooky, chilling adventure through the woods while we fight for our land and." I think it's supposed to be reboot, but there's one O. Reboot our robots. Apex is best heavy in rain at 2 a.m. Sceneries is best in sunny. War is better with battle. This is Project Apex. Please view at night. I worked really hard on lights.
Okay, so for the second POV, I'll turn on the rain. It's a very long ride. I'll start with the realism right away because I think I can kind of figure out how this is going to end, which is right now. It is not a very realistic layout at all. The forces are some of the most extreme we've seen so far. It has a max vertical G of 7 and minimum vertical G of negative 3.15, which is, it's too much. And the layout as a whole is just a little wonky to me. So for the realism, I'm going to give you a 3.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I feel like you can make it work. However, heavy portions of the ride would have to be like redone.
Could we dock points for the story being generated by AI?
Is this an AI story?
Well, it uses a lot of those like fat dashes and the way it's written.
The M dashes.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to accuse you of using AI. It doesn't really matter, but yes, a heavy use of M dashes is usually a pretty telltale sign.
Yeah. Realism. Oh. I'm just thinking about the one guy in the comment section on Colin's last video where you said, "You guys are being too mean."
Yeah, I know.
It's like a 3 in realism. I don't think this thing would ever get built.
That is fair. You're gonna get a 3.33 for realism. Smoothness, gonna be a similar boat, and like usually the ones that are unrealistic are at least smooth. This one's pretty jarring. I'm gonna give you a 3 once again for the smoothness.
I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna go with 3 with smoothness. There's the transitions are just out of this world crazy. I would love the ride. However, I don't think a lot of people would last on it.
Odd. I'll give it a 3.
That's fair. That is gonna give you a total or average of a 3. Next up is theming / presentation, which is by far the strong point of this attraction. You're going to get a 5 for me, not just because it looks really good, but also because the story really ties in well.
You'll get a 4 from me. It looks
This is so
really
funny.
nice. It is really cool. I'm gonna what is it? I'm gonna give it a 4. It looks really nice.
I'm also gonna give it a 4. I like the story. I like the presentation of everything. That's all done very well.
So that's going to net you a theming / presentation score of a 4.33. Finally, we have creativity, and you know, as unrealistic as it is, it's creative. I can't deny that. I'll give you a 4.
I'm gonna give you a 4 on creativity as well.
I'm also gonna give it a 4.
That is going to total out to a score for creativity of a 4 and an overall score of a 14.67, which does actually put it in last place, unfortunately. And that's not to knock you or anything, it's just how it goes. But good job. I like the story a lot. Next up is coaster number 9. How did we do on time there?
From what I've noticed, either the better the coaster or the more ridiculous the coaster, we spend more time on it. That was 5.5 minutes.
Okay. We'll try to go a little quicker.
This one's quick for the description. It's Michael from Nitro submitted a coaster named Space Ride. The description is a high-speed Intamin Giga inspired by Millennium Force.
Okay, we got another old gen Intamin Giga here. Once I actually get it rolling, of course, you know, Planet Coaster likes to take its sweet time. We got a little bit of a, oh wait, that's the load station. So it looks like the cable lift starts right out of the station.
You gonna get cable launch?
Kind of. Yeah, you can pull through pretty quick here.
Oh wow, look at that.
That's cool. Skip the lift hill. And here we go. This is in a full park, so ignore everything else. We're focusing just on this coaster.
Is that like a spaceship outside, or is that the sound of like the coaster?
I
Do you
couldn't
guys
tell
hear
you.
that too?
Let's see.
I can't be the only one hearing the.
I think that's the coaster.
Okay.
I don't know what noise it's making, but that is definitely odd. It sounds like it's got like 5 really bad wheels.
Mm-hmm.
This thing flies. Oh, okay. There's the Electrodome.
Oh my god, what is this?
What
that's
are
kinda
those?
cool.
That's sick.
Okay. Okay, that's a custom sound.
I like those sounds. Good job, Michael. All right.
G
So
Transit.
this is an interesting ride. It's hard to rate, but for realism, I'll give you a 6 because it's not like obnoxiously unreal. Like there's nothing that's like jumping out at me as like, oh, that could never happen. It's just like so drawn out that I don't know they would build this, but it's not bad. So I get a 6.
I'm gonna give this a 8 for realism. I totally see this being built. There's just a couple things that just have to be worked out.
I'm gonna be right in the middle and give it a 7. Nothing too crazy, but also there's better options that Intamin would do. So yeah.
This is gonna be a 7 for realism, and next up we have smoothness. It's not bad smoothness wise. Like for the most part, these transitions are very smooth. There's just a couple little jagged moments, but otherwise it actually is very smooth. So I'll give you an 8.
I'll give you a 7 for smoothness. There's moments that it's kind of just need to be worked out. Even like the mini airtime hills kind of need to be worked out a little bit, but overall the ride's pretty smooth, and the banking is, for the most part, it's okay. They need some improvements there. Also, I'm gonna give 7.
I'll give the smoothness a 6 just because some of the transitions, like those last few hills, were kind of rough.
Cool.
Yes, I would agree there. That's gonna give you a 7 for smoothness. Next up is theming / presentation, and there's not much to work with here. I do like this actually. That's a really cool effect. But what's really going to sell it for me is that effect, the sound effect on the brakes. That's a really nice touch, and the whole station setup and the fact that you kind of go through this like little chamber is really cool. So there's a 5-point category. I'll give you a 3.
I'll give it a 3 as well for theming. They have some throughout the ride, a little bit of terrain. It works out, and then I really like the part I like the most is what is it? Opening up the tunnel, the cable starting a little early. I like that. I'm gonna give it a 3 or 4. Sorry.
Uh, 4. Mm, I go to 4. I like the concept and the audio. It's cool.
So that's going to net you a theming score of 3.67. Finally, is creativity. It's not like super creative, but it is different. Like it's not just Millennium Force. It feels kind of like a cross between that, G-Force, and Thunder Dolphin. So I'll give you a 3.
I'll give it 3 as well for theming. It takes inspire for with a lot of different other coasters, but it also doesn't veers off into its own thing at some point. I'll give it 3.
I'm gonna give it a 3 also.
So that is going to give you
Oh,
a
that's a
total
3.
or a creativity score of a 3 and a total score of a 20.67, which puts you in third place. Or no, fourth place, sorry. Fourth place. So solid performance there. Next up is coaster number 10.
Okay, number 10 is gonna be by Rusty. It's called Hypernova Overdrive. The story goes, as you embark on a mission, survey an uncharted planet, you quickly discover you're not alone. Hostile enemies roam the surface, armed with advanced technology capable of shooting you through portals and hurling you into entirely different solar systems.
That's quite the story. So you start off here in this giant chamber kind of thing. This is a Is this a cable lift? Yes. This is going to be like Sky Rush, from the looks of it. I'm going to zoom past this. 4 cross Intamin new gen. And here we go. Drop. It's a very wide layout. It takes up a lot of space. Woof. Interesting over there. Whoa.
Oh, wow. I'm like in Guardians right now.
This is sick.
Everybody wants to.
Oh.
My bad. don't get copyrighted, Colin.
I think I'll be okay. I don't know if you're close enough to Tears Tears for Fears.
Yeah. There's a Fears for Tears. No, it's Tears for
Fears for Tears. I need to make note, something I'm noticing right off the bat at the end here. The non-inverting loop is taller than the mid-course, so that is going to be a knock for realism. But looking at the layout as a whole, it's a fairly realistic ride. Some very weird elements, and well, yeah, there are some weird elements. I appreciate this. I appreciate you connecting these pieces of the drop to that support. Definitely appreciate that. Realism, I will give you a 6.
I'll give it a 5. Well, I feel like for some of the parts it seems realistic. However, that ending part is what kills it for me, with the mid course being below the non-inverting loop and the elements following it. It would not work out. It would need heavy modifications. That's why I'm going to give it a 5.
I go to 5. It's like the elements. The profiling isn't the best or the realest, but the elements that it does do, I think, are quite realistic. So
That's going to give you a 5.33 for realism. Next up is smoothness. And for the most part, this is actually pretty smooth. There's not really many moments that I have an issue with, kind of setting aside realism. So I'll give you a 7 for smoothness.
For smoothness, I'll give you a 6. There's a lot of parts that kind of just feel like it needs more banking, it needs to be drawn out more. And yeah, I'll get a 6.
I'm also gonna give it a 6. It's just it needs better profiling and transitions in a few areas that need smoothing.
That's going to give you a 6.33 for smoothness. Next up is theming / presentation. Majority of your points for me are coming from this building right here. If I, oh wait, are the lights off? No, there it is. This is super cool. Like, I have not seen this done in the game yet. And I like the spaceships and everything. I I'll give you a 4 because you also have this.
Theming wise, I'll give it a 4 as well. It looks pretty good.
I'm also going to give it a 4.
As going to be, well, a 4 for theming. Finally, is creativity, and it's not like the most creative thing in the world, but it's not bland either. It's got some interesting little elements. I'll give you a 4.
I'll give you a 3 for creativity, as it takes its own little spin. And was it, the elements are kind of cool. However, I have my issues with this, so I was gonna give it a 3.
Give it a 4. I like what it does, but I wish it did more of it.
That's fair. That's going to give it a 3.67 for creativity and a total score of a 19.33. Next up is coaster number 11.
Oh, this is Zyraxis.
Zyraxis.
And the coaster name is The Return of the Norden, and there's no description in this Google Doc, but there might be one. So Zyraxis, do you have a description for the ride or
Yeah,
story?
if you're in the Discord
He's in the
right now,
chat.
Zyraxis,
Yeah.
if you have anything, feel free to send it. Oh, it was on the
It was
workshop.
on the workshop.
Unfortunately, it's very difficult to copy and paste things from the workshop because you can't highlight them, so I do not have it. Let's see if this decides to get itself going anytime soon. Hello? Hello? 76 incoming? Is that like a 6-7 joke? Oh wait, there's no ride operators. That's why there's no one coming. All right, we're gonna have to ride it like this. So this is going to be a 2 across, right? Yes, 2 across Intamin with the old gen old gen trains. So here we go. I'll say first off, there's quite a bit of theming. Not really the station, but everything else. I'm seeing quite a bit of theming. Which is an old gen train on new gen track. That's an interesting one. Very intense turn right there. Also, hello to everybody in the YouTube chat. Sorry, I haven't really been looking at you guys. It's a very interesting layout. It kind of reminds me of like Formula Rosa. It's so spread out.
Oh.
Okay. Expecting to slow down a little more there. Whoa!
Wow.
Okay. Well, the G's are not actually that unrealistic through those. It's an interesting ending. Okay. So that was... What is this called? Return of the Norden. Realism. It actually, for the most part, is a very realistic layout. It's very spread out, but it's pretty realistic. I'll give you a 7.
I'm gonna give this a 9. That's pretty realistic layout.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I mean, only thing wrong with it probably is those last weird Outer Banks hills, but those the forces are fine. My issue's the profiling.
That's fair. That's an 8 for realism. Next is smoothness. And this is actually really smooth for the most part. Like, really, really smooth. There's some of your transitions that are wonky. So, for that reason, I will give you a 9.
I'm going to give it an 8 for smoothing. For the most part, the ride itself is actually smooth. The tiny transition problems and some of the banking can use some improvement.
I'll give it an 8. Nothing really wrong with it, but yeah, just a few things I think I would reprofile a little bit.
I give you an 8.33 for smoothness. Next up is theming. And this is a very well presented ride. I love the terrain work. You have scenery pieces everywhere, even if they're just blueprints. I mean, I still think it looks really good. I love this windmill you have at the top. I love the design of the trains. This is gonna get a 5.
I have to agree with the 5. This is actually really well done. It fits well everything, and it fits all the story.
I would go to 5. I like the lift tool a lot.
This is gonna give you a 5 for theming. Creativity, I'll give you a 4. I don't really have much to add on that.
I'm gonna give it a perfect 5. Great job.
I'm also gonna give it a 5.
Well, that is gonna net you a 4.67 for the creativity and a overall score of a 26. That's first place, isn't it?
It is.
Great job,
Oh my
Cyraxis.
gosh.
You have jumped
You
up
remember
to first place. I know.
Last competition.
It was a
did so
crazy
bad.
comeback. Good job, Cyraxis. You did much better. Next up is coaster number 12. Aaron, you want to hit us with the intro?
Yeah. This is by Ian Boy 2006, and the coaster name is Cthulhu. The story goes: the legendary mythical creature, the Cthulhu, lures you into its forbidden waters. The Cthulhu holds powerful possession powers, taking you through an interdimensional flight. Will you return?
There's also music going up a lift hill, if you can hear it.
Yeah.
Prepare to be possessed. Oh, ignore that. That's not.
Okay.
That's just Planet Coaster being Planet Coaster. That might have messed up the sync of the music, but oh wait, no, it's just in the lift hill. This is a mock Giga. Is this our first mock Giga?
And this is our first one. Yeah, it's been gonna be now.
Wow. Alright, that's Cthulhu. So, realism is first up. This is realistic for the most part. There's a few things I don't love in terms of like spikes and G's and some wonky banking. But otherwise, I'd say this is pretty good. I'm going to give you an 8. Yeah, I'll give you an 8.
I'm gonna give this a 9. I feel like this is a really good take on if Mach were to make a Giga. Did I say 8? I meant 9. If I say.
Realism. I mean, all the elements I really like. My problem is the profiling, but that kind of bleeds into smoothness. So for realism, I would give an 8.
That's going to give you an 8.33 for realism. Then for smoothness, yeah, that's where you're going to have some more issues for me. A lot of the stuff just doesn't really flow super well. There are some elements, for the most part, though, that are great. I think the drop is one of the weaker offenders in terms of this smoothness issues. Same with this element right here. So I'm going to give you a 7.
I'm gonna give you the 7. The heart lining could be a lot better, and I feel like some of the banking could be a bit better. So I'm gonna give you a 7 as well.
I'm gonna give it a 6. I really hate the entrance to the stall.
Yeah,
It
it's
kind of
fair.
made me mad when I saw that.
The exit's a little, yeah, a lot of it's a
That
little,
too.
yeah. So that's gonna give you a 6.67 for smoothness. Theming slash presentation. You do have a pretty nice entrance here, actually. I really like how it's over water. The queue is pretty cool as well. And you did do a road around the entire thing with fencing and everything. So that warrants some praise. So I will give you a 4.
Can you go back over to like the station area?
Yep.
If possible. This looks pretty. This looks like actually pretty good theming wise. I'm gonna give it a 4 as well.
I'm gonna give it a 4 too. I like the custom supports. There's a whole maintenance shed. It looks like. I like it.
That's going to give you an overall score for theming of 4. Finally, creativity. Considered we haven't seen a mock Giga yet, people that built mocks are probably going to get more praise in this category. And I like how you combine a lot of their large scale coasters into one. and still give it your own unique flair. I'm gonna give you a 4.
I agree. I feel like Mach would stick to like elements like this if they were to make a Giga, but I feel like with the way the Hue did it, it flows really nice. I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'm also gonna give it a 4. I like almost everything about it. So.
It's a 4 for creativity and an overall score of a 23 out of 30, which puts you towards the upper pack out of the 12 we've done so far. Next up is number 13.
Number 13 is by GJK number 4, and then Fury. The story goes, you ventured too far into a Greek temple. Can you escape Poseidon's fury?
Okay. So I know this park has a couple of coasters near it. So we're going to, of course, only look at this one. And it's right at the top of the hill for me. Perfect. Here we go. Superman the Ride. Drop. Ooh. Feels like an arrow. Rebuilt element right there. Wow, what a break run. Okay, first up is realism. Looking at these G's, the negatives are not that bad, but positives are pretty severe. Almost a 7 positive G plus really high laterals. Some of the elements could work, but I think your values are kind of your big problem here. So you're going to get a 5 from me for realism.
You're gonna get a 4 from me. It's good. A lot of the valleys are gonna need heavy redo, and the brake run's gonna need a heavy redo.
Yes, the
if this
brake
were to
run,
ever
yeah.
become a thing.
Yeah, I mean, overall, the elements aren't, like, they aren't bad. Like, how do I say this? The idea or concept of the elements aren't bad, but the way they are done isn't the best. So I would give realism a.
I also want to note that the lift hill supports are quite excessive. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah. Aaron, what was your rating again for realism?
5.
5. So that's going to average out to a 4.67 for realism. Next up is smoothness. It's really not that bad in terms of smoothness. There's some moments that are pretty jarring, though, so for that reason, I'm going to give you a 6.
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for smoothing, as some of the banking is a little odd, and with the way what the realism is, like this area right here, I'm gonna give it a 5.
I'm also gonna give it a 5. It's just a lot of almost every element I would say needs some work with reprofiling.
I think this right here might be the only one that's good. This like wave turn kind of thing here.
Yeah.
So it's going to give you a 5.33 for smoothness. Next up is theming / presentation. I love this entrance plaza, actually. This looks really nice, especially at night. And I really like this right here. This is awesome. Plus, you did some nice theming here, too. So for theming, I will give you a 4.
I'm going to give this a 3 for theming. I like that nice centerpiece over the water there. And they have a little couple towns. I just wish there was a little bit more. Even though it looks... Actually, there is a decent amount. I'll give you a 4.
I do like, right, a lot of these Giga coasters, you won't see that much theming like around the layout of the ride just because, it's hard to theme a coaster while you go in an hour. But with this, I like the helix. There's like a fountain with a statue around the helix, and the whole ride area is also built. I'm gonna give it a 5. I think the presentation is great.
That's going to give you an average of a 4.33 for theming. Finally, creativity. This is a fairly creative layout. I mean, it's a typical out and back with a little twister at the end. It's actually kind of reminiscent of Superman at New England, just with a helix in the middle. So I'll go right in the middle and give you a 3.
I was thinking the exact same thing as you. I'll give it a 3. It is a similar out and back layout, just at the added helix with the out and then the twister at the end. So 3 works right in the middle. Worked for me.
I'm also gonna go with 3. Oh, jeez.
Also, something to note, I'm just noticing this now. You made your station really long. Just for future coasters, what I would recommend is instead of doing this, cut it in half and put a block here. That way you could store multiple trains or even do an unload station. So you could have 3 trains instead of just 2. But this is going to give you a creativity score of a 3 and an overall score of a 17.33 out of 30. Next up is coaster number 14.
Oh my god, this is a lot. This is by Devil Rex, and it's called Lunar Light Rays.
Yeah, they've got their own Google Doc just for the story. Actually, Aaron,
Yeah.
I will just throw this into a voice generator thing, so you don't have to say the whole thing. 'Cause it's a lot. Let's see if Google Translate will do it for me. Oh, of course not. Wait, will it? Let's see. Oh, that's not what I thought it was gonna do.
Oh, that's not what I thought.
Okay.
Wait. I
I think you might have to
south.
read it.
Okay. 10 miles south south of the Trestle in the Eldritch Woods, there is a small town called Acoville. Acoville has a long history full of traditions and festivals. July 20th, there's a special event, the Moonlight Festival, an old tradition that has been held for over 100 years. It started as a local festival for the of Acoville, but now it has gained popularity and country are visiting the small town to be a part of the Moonlight Festival. Since 1967, the organizer of the festival has been Jack Black. Jack Black is an old resident of Acoville. He moved here from Lightville when he was a child. Ever since he moved here, he was always interested in culture. On the 23rd,
23rd.
21st, 21th of December 2012, he was nominated as a mayor of Acoville. He is a well-known and respected person in the town and in the surrounding area. For this year, Jack planned something special, an event. But to make his plan come to life, he needs a group of people who volunteer to fly to space to get shot around the moon. Fly back, stardust will fall from the sky, which will make everything gleam in a noble gold. He arranged a crew of specialists from the Mile High crew. Does he know what the Mile High crew? Okay. Who built a spaceship. The spaceship can hold up to 32 people who are brave enough to get shot through space. In an interview with the radio, Jack Black said, if we find enough people who are fulfilled with courage and dare to enter the spaceship, the festival will be more spectacular than ever. Before spaceships were invented, the crew was worried that the one spaceship enough. That's why they built another 2 spaceships, which are clones of the original one. When 32 daring passengers board the spaceship, 348 feet tall structure, which helps a spaceship fly through space. Jack Black and the Mile High crew are confident that everything will work. If not, he recommends every passenger to have good insurance. With your help, the festival will be the best event ever. Not only the residents, but everyone would be thankful for a one-of-a-kind experience. Follow the stars, by the way. That's what it says on the ground.
Yeah, that is quite the story. I don't know if that's AI generated or just some really creative writing, but I'm liking this coaster a lot. I'll play it again for you, Aaron, so you can actually see it without reading. But
I already see this one, or
okay.
I saw it on my own time, so you don't need to play. Also, for time's sake.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, you probably will if we're talking about.
This is a unique layout, that's for sure. I'll start reviewing it now. It's about to end. Realism-wise, this is super realistic. And something I keep forgetting to mention with the B&Ms, I give you a lot of extra points when you complete the spine and do it all the way to the ground. That's very nice to see. So, realism, you're going to get a 9 for me. There's just a couple wonky bits here and there, but I think it's a 9 for sure.
You're gonna get the first 10 out of 10 from me. I think this is perfectly done.
You're gonna get a 9. Only gripes would be the valley after
This
the
right
first
here.
airtime hill. Yeah, that one too. Yeah, it's mainly just this airtime hill and like the transition into the brakes, which I think kind of are bad. But otherwise, everything is very, very, very good.
Yes, so that is going to give you a 9.33 for realism, the highest so far. Next up is smoothness, and honestly, yeah, I'll give it a 9 because again, there's some gripes I have with some of the transitions. Where like here, for instance, right here, you could see it like bump a little bit. That's just me being nitpicky though. I think a 9 is deserved here for me.
I'm gonna give it a 9 as well. It's just a couple moments that, like, it's that very small moments that need to be fixed. But like, for the most part, this was done really well.
I'm also gonna give it a 9. I really like it.
Well, that's going to give you a 9 for smoothness. Next up is theming slash presentation. I'm trying to still remember what you were talking about in that story.
There's a festival with Jack Black, and it happens every July or so.
And the
And
Mile
they
High
need
Tour.
daring passengers. They need daring passengers to like go to space. So
I mean, it works. Actually, I do want to see what this coaster looks like at night. I'm curious. Okay, the lights look sick. There's nothing else though. There's some lights right here. I will give you. I'm gonna go with a 2. I do like. Actually, no, 3, 3, 3. I like this queue actually, especially at night. This looks awesome. And you have a transfer track. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a transfer track, you have a nice little plaza, like a entrance, a nice little queue. There's not really much going on during the ride. That's why I'm gonna give it a 3. There's some stuff going on during the ride that would be almost perfect.
I'm gonna give it a 3. There's not that much, theming going on, but I like the custom supports. The lights in the queue are cool. Overall, it's a 3.
That's a 3 overall for theming slash presentation. Creativity is next up. Considering it's a B&M Giga layout and there's not much you can do to make it creative, I think you did a good job at creating a creative layout. It doesn't really feel like any of the others, but in a good way. So I'm going to give you a 4.
I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. I think you did a really good job with this.
Also gonna go with a 4. Nothing really I would change, but it doesn't do anything like too out of the ordinary for B&M, which I think is what is keeping it back from a 5.
That's going to give you a 4 for creativity and a 25.33 out of 30 overall, which puts you in tied for second, right?
Tied for second, yeah.
Yeah.
A little behind. I'm keeping the ranks.
Good job.
Okay.
So next up is coaster number 15. Aaron, hit us with that intro.
Yep. Coaster 15 is by Matty or Maty, M-A-T-Y. It's called Timberline, and the description is Intamin 310-foot Giga inspired by Pantherian and other B&M Gigas. Kind of weird that he's inspired by an Intamin and B&M. And then the coaster is featuring the world's first egg turn, and in parentheses, that's called the egg turn.
Egg turn. It's an interesting one. Well, here we go. Is a Skyler style restraints for across. Let's see how this goes. Oh, there are people on this. Great. Sorry.
Wait, am I cutting out for you guys?
Yes.
A little bit.
I'm sorry. I think I can fix that. I don't know. Thank you, Rusty, for saying nice Wi-Fi, Aaron.
Really nice way to say it.
Well, I was
Not
afraid I was
out,
cutting out.
Just nice Wi-Fi.
W Rusty. W Rusty. Alright.
Whoa, tree.
Oh my god. It was ahead.
Holy, 70 miles
Whoa.
an hour the brakes? Jeez. Okay. Well, realism is first. I guess this is the egg turn. Is this what I'm looking at?
Oh,
Where is the egg turn? I'm so curious.
I think it's the first element, is it
I
not?
guess this is the egg turn. I gotta say, custom supports, nice job. They look pretty good. So I will give you some points for that. And again, connecting to the main support, very nice. The layout itself is not the most realistic, especially in the second half. It gets kind of wonky. So I'll give you a 6. Or 7. 7. Yeah, 6, 7.
I'll give it a 6. I feel like towards the end, that's where it starts. You got something going in the beginning, and it just kind of dies out. It's kind of just like, I don't know what to do now. Let me go brakes. That's just my opinion, though.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.
It's fair. 6.33 for realism. Now smoothness. It's not really that rough, but there's some banking that's problematic for me. So for that reason, I'm gonna give you a 7.
I'm gonna agree with a 7 here. There's just some moments that could use some work.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6.
I'm actually gonna revise my realism score to a 6, and that will make the overall score for that a 6 because I just remembered that you're going 70 miles an hour into this little, tiny little brake run.
And you're hitting the trees.
That too. So yeah, you're gonna get pegged down a little bit there. But for smoothness, your average score or overall score is gonna be a 6.67. And for everybody in the chat that keeps laughing about the 6.7, the reason it keeps popping up so many times is because it's 3 of us, and if you know how to do math, which I hope you do, when you divide anything by 3, you're either going to get 33 or a 66.6, which rounds up to a 67. Anyways, though, theming / presentation, you do have a pretty nice little plaza here. It looks like there's a full-blown queue and everything. Yeah, okay. The ride itself doesn't really have anything, but you are going to get some points for this plaza, so I'll give you a 3.
I'm gonna give this. It has a nice plaza, it has a nice station. Not really much going on other than trees throughout the ride. I'm gonna give it a 3. Oh wow, yeah, people love this ride. I will say, it is a capacity monster as well.
Yes, it is.
So, I'll give it a 3.
Ooh, that's nice.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I think he did all he could with theming. Like I said before, theming a Giga during the layout is quite difficult, which is the only thing I think holding this back. But every theming element is done very well.
Yeah, that station's really, really good.
It's gonna give it a 3.33. I'm a little behind on this.
3.33 for theming. Next
Yep.
up is creativity. As much as I don't like the second half where it gets wonky, it's creative. I can't deny that. It's also really creative to end a ride by going 70 miles an hour into a really short brake run. Maybe not in a good way. I'll give you a 3.
I'll give it a 3 as well.
I'm also gonna give it a 3.
It's going to be a 3 for creativity, which...
Yeah, just had to put 3.33 in. Google's being a little slow for me for some reason right now.
All good. That will give us a total score for this one of a 19 out of 30. Which means it is time for coaster number 16, which
number
right here.
16.
We're getting through it. We got 20 more.
Yeah.
This is by Coaster
I have Excel
Baller.
open, so I can just put everything into there as well, and I'll give you the scores.
Okay.
If it's being slow.
Coaster Baller made this. It's called Typhoon. The description is: "Surfs up, dudes. The waves have been extra gnarly."
Oh, you just cut out.
Hello?
Oh.
Oh, wait. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Do I need to repeat this?
Yes, we didn't hear any of it.
Okay. Surfs up, dudes. The waves have been extra gnarly recently, and we don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. We're seeing some wicked high winds out there. So, word of caution to any dudes or dudettes trying to hang 10. Just ride the wave and try not to wipe out. Have a righteous ride.
So I will note you just missed the Outer Bank turn out of the station because I sped up too quick, but here we go. It's another Mach Giga. So, we drop. Jeez. I'm trying to kill you.
Rattles more than Iron Menace. Am I right, Jason?
No, that'll strike at her. This is very interesting. Oh, I like the water feature. And I will say it's nice to see a coaster that's not going overboard with the positive G's for once. course.
Oh,
What the heck?
tree just fell.
That's a funny theming element.
And crawling into the brakes. Okay, so first up is going to be realism. And considering it's a mock, there's definitely some things about this that I feel are pretty unrealistic, but like, especially the drop. The drop is probably my biggest gripe with the whole ride, and this whole first bit is a little crazy because the drop's really tame, and then it just gets super tight through here. But I'll give it a 6.
It starts out rough, however, it gets better. So I'm gonna give it a 6 as well.
Besides like some rattleness and some profiling issues like most coasters that we've seen have, I think it's actually quite realistic. I would give this a 7.
You said 7.
Yeah, 7.
All right, that's gonna give us 6.67 or 6.33. Sorry.
3-3. Moving on, we have smoothness. It's not that rough. I mean, there's some moments that are wonky. I'll go to 7. I think that's fair.
I'm gonna go with the 7 as well. I feel like at first it's a little rough, but like I feel like towards the end it starts to like slowly get better. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
I'm also gonna give it a 7.
So it's gonna give us a
There's
7.
7. Theming / presentation. You're gonna get some bonus points for that freaking tree that just falls at the end of the ride. That's hilarious. I think overall it's actually very well presented. It's a
Google's
giant.
back for me. Let's go.
Awesome. Giant plaza looks a little weird. I love the sign. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give this a 4. I think it's deserving of a 4.
Oh, it's Jimmy's turn.
I'm waiting for
I'll
you.
give
I'm
this.
still in your spot.
Yeah, you steal my thunder. I'll give this. I love that. I'll give it a 4 as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4. I think that tree does a lot for the theming.
All it takes is a tree to make us happy. That's gonna give you a 4 for theming, and then creativity. You're gonna get a 5. This is a very creative layout.
I'll agree. Give it a 5. Good job.
Just to be different and quirky, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Of course you are.
Of course. Of course.
Well, it's
Can't make everything easy.
Vinny has to do
well
a little
because
bit more math.
I was thinking about
There you
the overall rating of the coaster. If I gave this a 5, it would rank higher than I think it really deserves to be ranked. So
Okay.
it's like, even though I think it's a 5, I'm trying to even it out. to where I
Strategic
think-
decision there.
Yeah. But we're already like taking so long to do everything. It's kind of long to explain all that. But I just did, so I guess I'm wasting time anyway.
Yes, great job,
yeah.
Aaron. That's going to give you a 22 out of 30 overall, which is putting you pretty much in the middle of the pack. It's time for number 7. We are almost halfway there. Almost.
So number 17 is going to be made by Coaster Kev. Shout out Coaster Kev. He's actually a super cool dude. This coaster is called Supernova. It is a B&M Giga inspired by Fury 325, Orion, and Goliath at Six Flags over Georgia.
Awesome. Here we go. Very wide ascent into the lift hill there. And here we go. It is in the snow as well. Uzis would be complaining about this ride.
It's too slow.
has no airtime.
This is, I mean, I've only ridden Orion twice on like a cold, rainy day. So, to me, this is how like Orion feels. Just no airtime.
I mean, there's some airtime on some of these hills, but the big one, but I think a little bit going in.
Well, yeah, going in, like that was good.
That was good. That was like perfect floater. So Helix. Okay, so there's a really nice route so far, actually. And that's it. Nice, simple. Oh, wait, no, not yet. Not yet. Fake out ending.
I like the music.
Yes, the music is a very nice touch. It's like very like lo-fi.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like it like fits the slow pacing of the ride.
Yeah, like a very just chill big adventure. Also, nice custom support there. Actually, the whole lift hill, very good job. Realism. Well, now that I look at this hill, yeah, that's not exactly an airtime hill. Um, I will give you I'll give you an 8 because I feel like other than some of the really forceless moments, it's actually a very realistic ride.
I'm gonna give it a 9 for realism. It, for the most part, it's done really well.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it's pretty realistic.
It's gonna net you a 8.33 smoothness. I'm gonna go with an 8 as well.
I'm gonna go with. For the most part, it's pretty smooth. However, just towards the end, I feel like that element could use a little bit of a banking. So I'm gonna agree and go with an 8.
I would give it a 7, just because there's a few turns and hills, but besides that, it's very solid.
I'm gonna give you a 7.67. Now, theming. For one, I want to point out that this plaza is really cool, how you incorporated the snow. And up here, there's tons of theming. It looks really cool. Over here, I mean, you've got this thing, this like robot dog. Otherwise, though, not really anything during the ride layout. So I will give you a 2.
I'm gonna have to agree. Yes, the plaza's nice. Okay, is there a queue line? Can I see?
There is.
There is. I'm gonna give it a 3. Actually, looks really nice.
Oh, there's a whole.
Also-
Okay, the station's pretty cool, actually.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3.
I'll switch to a 3 as well, actually. Make it easier.
Okay.
So, 3 for theming, creativity. I mean, it is very different than the other ones, that's for sure. I'll give you a 3.
I would say a 4 for creativity. Here's that.
I mean, for being on Giga, it's not too creative, but the thing keeping it creative is the scenery during the ride, so I'd give it a 3.
That is going to equal out to a 3.33 for a total of 22.33 out of 30. Now we're moving on to coaster number 18, which officially marks the halfway point, which is exhausting to think about.
Oh, it's only halfway. It's
Oh wait,
9:40.
hit the lap. Okay, that was 5 minutes.
All right,
I mean,
we gotta start moving
around
fast.
Oh my god. Okay, wait, it's not that bad. So this is by EXD Niklas, and it's called Vortex. The story goes, in the middle of this open landscape rises a massive structure, the Vortex Reactor. It gathers raw energy from its surroundings and channels it upwards, concentrating it at extreme height. You are on board the test train. The lift hill slowly pulls you higher and higher. Below you, the system hums as the energy level climbs. Height is essential. Only from the top can the reactor be released. At the summit, Vortex reaches critical power. The system tips forward. The energy breaks free, and you plunge down the steep first drop, racing straight through the reactor core. The hills and turns that follow are violent energy surges, the moment of weightlessness over the crest, and powerful pulls back into the structure as the force stabilizes. At last, the remaining energy is drained. The train returns to the base. Test complete. Vortex is stable for now.
Interesting theme and quite the interesting layout so far. It's a new gen Intamin 4 Cross, again, kind of like Hyperion. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a No Limits Loop coaster. Which we'll see later on.
Yeah, you gotta wait till the end to see that.
Yeah, that'll be the very last coaster. Sorry, Luke.
Is he still in here?
One last inclusion.
Oh, he is.
there it is.
Clearance, by the way, here. You
Yes,
can
a
touch
little,
the ceiling.
a little bit of a clearance error there. But otherwise, for realism, you are going to be getting a 9. The only issue I have, clearance, like you said, this inversion is a little too whippy in my opinion. And there's a couple elements that are just a little weird, but otherwise, this is a like borderline no limits level coaster right here. And the support structure, this is a little strange, the giant box in the middle, but otherwise, it's really good.
You're getting a perfect 10 from me. This is amazing. So realistic.
I'm also gonna give it a 9. Just a few gripes, but otherwise very solid.
It's going to equal out to a 9.33, which is at our highest for realism so far. It's a tie.
think so.
Tie with number
Yeah.
14. Smoothness is next, and between a 9 and a 10, the one moment that bugs me with the smoothness is this right here. Otherwise, it is like perfectly smooth. So, you know what? I'll give you a 10. I'll give you my first 10. Vinny?
I'm gonna give it a 10 as well, to be honest.
I'm gonna give it. I mean, yeah, I don't see an issue with the smoothing, so it should really be a 10. So I'll give it a 10.
Very good.
Yeah, look at that.
Perfect 10. First time.
Yeah.
And now we have the theming / presentation. This is where you're going to kind of take a hit. You do have a custom logo, custom sign. Very nice. You have a queue with, well, no theming. You do have a station. Also, what is this clearance? You do have a transfer track too. That's very nice. You have nothing during the ride. I'll give you a 2. Although you do have the tunnels. You do have the tunnels. Also keep it a 2.
I'm gonna give it a 3. The queue's nice, the sign's nice, the area is nice with the trees and the water. You just hope it doesn't rain and hope you don't have a lot of tall people going into this ride.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
2.67 for theming. Finally, creativity. It's a very creative layout. Like, there's a lot of inspiration from Hyperion. It's very clear. But as there's a lot of really unique elements, so I'm going to give you a 4.
I'm going to give this a 5. I think it was really well done.
Wait, what category is this? This is creativity?
Creativity.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I just like if a park has this much space and land to build it, I think they would. Or but it takes up a lot of land, which I mean, sure it's creative, but I don't know where I'm going with this. It's a 4.
Well, that is a 4.33 for creativity and a 26.33, which is our new number 1. I'm taking over the first place spot. Next up is number 19.
Number 19
Which
is
is-
by Flip.
Oh,
boy.
This is an interesting one.
Yeah, this is called Expedition Makalu. The description is possibly my magnum opus and a project I've been working on since December last year. Makalu is an intimate giga with an imposing height of 342 feet and a drop of 360, diving into an underground tunnel. The layout and supports mainly take inspiration from Hyperion as well as Conda, Expedition GeForce, Skyrush, etc. This coaster is also fully custom supported with realistic flanges, connectors, and footers. The left hill in particular uses 70,000 pieces of scenery to achieve its realistic look with the custom chains, anti-rollback dogs, maintenance boxes, catwalks, rails, cross ties, security cameras, maintenance catwalks, etc. This coaster is themed in quotations, to an expedition of the legendary Mount Makalu in the Himalayas. However, the theme is rather stylized than immersive, taking the pre-merger Cedar Fair approach. The coaster is surrounded with an immense amount of foliage and scenery, with the plaza around the final turnout being the best viewing area of the ride.
I do want to note this was made with a lot of mods, as you can probably tell. I did not install all of them, so one thing you're not going to hear are the custom sounds that Flip implemented into this ride. There are custom brake sounds, I believe custom lift sounds as well that sound like Intamin, so just imagine that that exists. But you can tell there was a lot of time put into this one, and judging off how long it took my computer to load it up, it shows. Also, variable speed lift, very nice touch. Makaloo. That is quite the ride right there. And I just want to show off like the custom supports, all the custom bits. Like there was a lot of time poured into this one. You can very much so tell. So realism, first category, you're getting a 10. I feel like I just watched a real coaster POV. I'm not gonna lie.
It
Also,
literally
look at
has
the
to be a
transfer
10.
track.
What
Look
else
at
could it
this.
be? Oh
Yep,
wow.
out of 10. Yeah.
I mean, this is an impressive ride. Smoothness, you're getting another 10. I mean, I feel like I can't not give that to you. Again, feels like I just watched a real coaster POV.
That is also giving it a 10.
That's a 10.
I think this is going to be one of the most clean sweeps. Theming slash presentation. Okay, let me get off the ride for that for a second. So, this area looks fantastic. You have details all around, all the coasters covered. And then the main viewing plaza, like this looks fantastic. The whole ride has some form of scenery covering it, and it may not have like a crazy theme, but it is the best presented one. I'm giving this a 5.
I'm gonna give it a 4 since there's not too much going on in red, but other than that, it looks really good.
Since the whole thing is custom supported, I'm gonna have to give it a 5.
Yeah, this one's pretty wild. You're gonna get a 4.67 for theming slash presentation, and now creativity. I can't give it a perfect score because like it literally just feels like you turned Hyperion into a Giga. Like that's exactly what this feels like. So you do have some pretty cool elements on here, like this wave driven. So I'll give you a 4 for creativity.
I'll give it a 5 to since I had the 4 on the last one. Looked really well done.
I was gonna give it a 3. Like, right? It's like for creative, it's definitely creative in the sense that like for a Planet Coaster, so many mods, all custom supported, custom lighting, so much thought put into it. But as a coaster, maybe the only like real unique thing it does is that wave turn.
That's fair. I did want to switch to night because I knew this had a lot of lighting and it was fantastic at night. So that's going to give you a 4 for creativity, and you're going to have a 28.67 for your whole score, which is, well, by far number 1. That is by far the closest we've gotten to
Just
a perfect 30.
just
So,
took over the
yeah, we
was
just had
the
2
first place
back-to-backs.
randomly. I said 1.
Yeah, that's crazy. Great job, Flip. I can see why this is your magnum opus. Next up is number 20.
Number 20 is by Beef. It's called Project Horizon. The description is the U.S. military has developed a new experimental device to put on their fighter jets, but their field test is being done a little differently this time.
Okay, well, let's see how differently it's being done. If I can. Ah. And also, transfer shed. Very nice, just like Fury. Sun's right in our eyes. Alrighty, here we go. So another BMN Giga right here. Also, appreciate the spine. That's it. Right there. That was that little wonky ending. But first up, realism. Despite the wonky ending and me not loving this first element being super intense, some of the values just being really intense, I will give you a 9 because the layout is really fluid and really well done.
I'm going to give it an 8. The drop just needs to be reworked, which I feel like it could easily be redone. But other than that, the rest of it seems really well done. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, I'll agree with Vinny. It's just there's a few things that I would reprofile. But otherwise it's super solid.
It's going to give you a 8.33 for realism. Next up is smoothness. This ride's very smooth. Not perfect because again, there's a couple little kinks here and there, but I'll give you a 9 for smoothness.
I agree with a 9. For the most part, it's really smooth and flows really well. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.
I'm also gonna go with a 9. There's just a few transitions. Like I think mainly the first turn at the bottom of the drop, but otherwise very smooth.
As a 9 for smoothness in the theming presentation, we do have to come up front here because this whole setup looks awesome. It kind of reminds me of the right stuff, but like it was actually themed properly. You come in here, you have plain, the right, outfitting for the right stuff. So all this here, okay, you got a very well themed queue. I'm not gonna go through all of it here, but I also love this plane. Otherwise, there's not anything during the layout, but it looks nice against this lake. I will give you a 4.
Wait, can you show the inside of the station?
Yes. Oh, well, there's not much of it inside.
Oh.
It's a, it's a sort of unique station. I kind of like it, like more open air, sort of. I'm gonna give it a. Also, the roads are slightly backwards. I think it's because of the sign. If you go to the other side, I think it'll be right. I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'm also gonna go with a 4. There's just like around the ride, there's not that much. There was that one plane at the bottom of the drop, but you know.
That's going to be a 4 for theming. And finally, creativity. Um, it is definitely a creative layout. Again, considering it's a B&M, I'll give you a 4.
I will give it a 4 as well. It's really well done.
I'm also gonna go with a 4. It doesn't really do anything out of the ordinary for B&M, but it's like if Raging Bull was like a Giga, like just does a lot of turns and twists.
That's a good way to put it. It's a 4 for creativity and a 25.33 overall. Great job. That's one of the higher ranking ones, actually. And next up is number 21.
Okay, number 21 was made by Criffer. It's called Intimidator. And the description goes, located at Six Flags Over Kansas, Intimidator was the second B&M Giga, opening in 2015. The ride replaced the old Comet wooden coaster and its station is near the Timberwolf wooden coaster. The layout expands out of the park into the woods. The theme was inspired by Intimidator at Carowinds and Intimidator 305. The realism details are based off of Orion, and the layout is mostly based on Leviathan. Set the time tonight and play the event sequencer located on Timberwolf's transfer track cover for a fireworks show. Open test details.
Is realism, and I think it is a very realistic ride. I especially love that transfer track. I think my biggest issues are your turns. I feel like they're all either taken way too fast, or they're not banked enough, and they're just kind of weird, like these flat turns here. So for that reason, I will give you a 7.
I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10. The custom supports are really nice. It looks well. The transfer traction is really cool. It just, yeah, like you said, a couple of the turns and the speed is a little bit off at some point, like they right there. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'll give it a 7.
Equal out to a 7.33. Smoothness is next, and this is a very smooth ride, actually. Really smooth. Maybe a couple moments here and there, but I think a 9 is in order for this.
Smoothness, I will give an 8 out of 10. There's just a couple moments for me that could use some work.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with an 8.
That's going to equal out to a 8.33. Next up is theming, and actually I should probably take off the ride for that. It is very, very reminiscent of Intimidator or Carowinds. Like, it looks basically identical. As far as anything in the ride, there's nothing. But I think that's kind of the point. Also love all the custom supports, by the way. So, I'll give you a 3, because I see what you're going for here.
I wish there was a roof on the station. But I love the custom transfer shed. It looks nice. The station is very unique. And the queue line has some nice. Oh, I like to start your engines right there. I will. Oh, I like the custom bins as well. I'll give it a 3.
I'm like in between a 3 and a 4. I'll give it a 4.
Fair. Station is really, really nice. It's going to be a 3.33 for theming and creativity. I'll give you a 3. I mean, I don't really feel overly strongly or not. Oh, wait, that's really cool. I just noticed that. That's really cool. Sorry. Yeah, I'll give you a 3.
I'll give it a 3 as well. It kind of feels like if Intimidator at Carowinds was 100 feet taller, really. Overall, still like really nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 4. I like the concept.
And equal out to a 3.33 for creativity and an overall score of a 22.33, which is very solid. Next up is number 22, which means we are getting closer and closer to being done with the Planet Coaster 2 coasters.
This is by Skyline Coasters. It is called Titanus. The description is explore Earth's crust, trying to find titanium, passing through twists, turns, airtime hills, and more.
Alrighty, let's see how it goes. Be slow with tilt. No spine. Oh, okay. That's quite the ending. Um,
Mhm.
realism. It's tough. I think I'm gonna go with a 6.
I'm gonna go with a 7. I was gonna give it like an 8. There's like a couple things, but then the brake run kind of killed me with the insane lats. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
That's insane right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 7.
So that's gonna give you a average of a 6.67. For realism, now smoothness. It is fairly smooth actually. I do think some banking was needed more in certain areas, and this is brutal right here. So I'll give you a 7.
I'll give it a 7 as well for smoothness. There's some banking needs to be improved, other than like the transition. Well, the banking needs some work, but other than that, like it was smooth.
Um, I'll give it a 6.
That will equal out to a
Ooh.
6.67 again. Now theming. Well, wait. Okay, I did not realize that was there. It's a very, very interesting setup. There's like a little shack just covering the train, and these really long pads to this thing, and then the rest of the ride is just rocks everywhere. I'm gonna give you a 2.
To agree on this one, give it a 2. It's just a bunch of rocks spanned everywhere.
I'll give it a 2.
That will equal out to a 2, and then creativity. Um, that's a tough one because I do like this actually, how it like dives under the rocks and stays above it for the rest of it. But like it's a really short ride, and the elements just kind of feel dull. But it is unique. Give it, I'll give it a 3.
I'll give it a 3 as well.
I'll give it a 3.
Well, that will equal out to a 3 and give you a final score of an 18.33. Next up is coaster number 23.
Number 23 is by Legend of Ka. It is called Grand Bear. The description goes 380-foot B&M. Embark on a journey through the woods and track and capture the mythical bear. You're a volunteer group to participate in the bear search, and you're in a special vehicle designed to handle the forceful maneuvers, top speed of 100 plus miles an hour.
It's a very, very nice looking B&M Giga right here. Let's hop on board. It's the train. It's a little free drop, some wonky banking. And up the lift we go. Oh wow, it's a slow lift hill. Alright, here we go. So soft, jeez. I appreciate the spine once again. That's intense. Whoa. Okay, that's interesting. It's, oh, that's another, like, airtimeless hill. That's a long helix, jeez. Floater hill. A long ride.
It's a long ride.
And drop. Whoa, okay. It just got intense out of nowhere. Like super tame, and then all of a sudden just head into the metal. Jeez.
Oh, nice.
Okay, well, that was a ride, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Realism. I'm gonna have to go with a 5. I gotta give you credit for the custom supports and the fact the ride looks really good visually, but the first half and second half are so wildly different. Where the first half is very tame for the most part, and then the second half is just ridiculous, like ridiculously intense.
I'll give it a. I'll give it a 4 for realism. Uh, it feels like it's just way too drawn out on the first half, and then way too compact in the second half. I feel like if you design it a little better with between the two, it'd be perfect.
I'm gonna give it a 6. That's it.
The average of a 5. Smoothness. Your first half is actually pretty smooth overall. Second half is where it starts to get kind of wonky. I'll go with a 6, I think, because it's this track itself is fairly smooth.
I'm gonna have to agree with a 6 here. Um, it's very smooth, but like there's a lot of work with since it's kind of tight. It's kind of hard to like keep it smooth.
Um, like, yeah, after the mid course is where it kind of gets really rough, I would say. So I'd say like a 6.
Is it a 6?
Yeah, 6.
Sweet.
So that is a 6. Theming slash presentation. Let's actually look over here. I like a little pond. Grand Bear, 380. Okay. 30-minute wait time and an empty queue. Gotta love it. Okay, there's some nice little theming here. It's like a national park kind of setup, and then it gets kind of industrial when you get over here. And during the layout itself, I mean, there's this. There's a lake. There's not much. I'll give it a 2.
Can you go over towards like a station area? It has a chance to set, but other than that, really nothing other than trees. I'm gonna give it a 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.
That is, well, a 2. And creativity.
Um, Legend of Call wants you to make it night.
Wants me to make it night. Okay, let's make it night. It is pitch black. There's a couple lights here and there. For the most part, it's pretty much pitch black. Creativity. I will go right in the middle and say a 3.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree as well. I'll give it a 3. Put it right in the middle.
Aaron.
Yeah, I'm falling asleep over here. My bad. It's definitely creative. I would give it a 3.
Well, that will average out to a 3, which gives you a 16 out of 30. And I'm going to make a quick executive announcement here before we get to the next coaster. You can probably tell we're pretty tired, and there's still a lot more coasters to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to split it. Once we get to coaster number 26, that is the final coaster of Planet Coaster 2, we will then stop for the night and continue probably tomorrow. But you will have to join the Discord server because we will not be streaming that on YouTube. It will be a Discord exclusive. So if you need the invite link to join the Discord server, I will send that in the chat momentarily on YouTube. Of course, you guys in the Discord server don't need that. But yeah, we will do all the no limits coasters and the one Planet Coaster, one coaster tomorrow. More than likely. But Aaron, hit us with the final stretch here.
Which we're on 24?
24.
24.
This is by No BS. The coaster is called Aquila. The description goes: an ancient eagle who has lived for millennia has awoken and outgrown their master, once carrying the thunderbolts of Zeus. Aquila is now free to fly and hunt from the sky, embark on a journey of flight and freedom with the giant red eagle they call Aquila.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Treble clef. Ooh, I like that element actually. Whoa. Feels like a Morgan.
Kind of feels like.
Very interesting.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, it kind of remind me of a Morgan at the end there, like Steel Force almost. Also, very nice spine there. Thank you for that. It's not actually, now I'm looking at the drop. It doesn't look that steep. It's interesting. But for realism, I will probably go with. I'm gonna have to go with a 6 because the banking, especially in the first half, is a little rough. It definitely needs some stronger banking because the laterals are just a little out of control.
I'm gonna go with a 7. I feel like this is pretty realistic. They just have to, like I said, they just adjust the laterals, and I think this would be done pretty. Ooh, I didn't really see that before. I'll stick with the 7 though.
Aaron, did you fall asleep? Not yet.
Oh,
Yeah. Not yet.
yeah, not yet. It's actually very. I like it a lot. It's a solid 8.
Okay, that's an average of a 7. Next up is going to be smoothness, and it is a smooth ride overall, but again, the banking really kind of hurts it and kind of makes it look rougher than it really is. But it is smooth overall, so I think a 7 is fair here.
I'll agree with this. I'll give it a 7 as well. They just have to improve the banking, is really all.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7.
That's 7s across the board. Theming. Let's go look at the. Ooh, okay.
Oh, hold on a second.
Wow, that looks fantastic. I love the exit path and the entrance path. Very cool. Okay, that changes my thought process on this a lot. Station's alright, but I really like the pathways out here. You also
Oh, it's up. There is an unload station.
There is an unload station. I didn't even notice.
Yeah. I saw that gate back there. I was like, there's no way that they unload and load at the same time, but I saw the unload station. That's why.
Also, really love the lights. And the presentation is really well done. I'll give you a 4.
I'll agree here. I'll give it a 4. It looks really nice. Well presented.
It's Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah, that's gonna be 4s across the board there. And then creativity. I mean, your layout's not like, so this element's pretty creative. There's a couple kind of creative moments, but nothing crazy. Like this is the Orion Helix, that's the Fury treble clef. So I will give you a 2, but this is creative up here, that's for sure.
I'm gonna give it a 3 for creativity. It looks. It's a cool combination of elements, but it's nothing we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.
And it's gonna average out to a 2.67, giving you a total score of a 20.67. Nice job. We've got 2 coasters left until we are taking a pause until tomorrow. This one is number 25. Which is Pirate Hunt by Ryan Barr. So this is the description we read way earlier in the stream. That was meant for this ride, not the ride we read it for.
Wait, this is
Number
okay.
25.
This is Pirate Hunt.
Yeah, this is the pirate one. Yes.
Do I have to read it again?
I'll
Say so.
As you climb up the lift and go down, you are tossed into heavy combat between the rival pirate groups and a mysterious water creature. The ride gives you a fast-paced view from the sky while also getting close to the action and flying past rockwork and building at insane speeds. The ride features various fire and water effects, adding to all the chaos down on the ground. This is definitely an interesting looking one. Whoa. Okay.
Banking so far is very minimal.
It's like a Morgan. Yeah, that was cool. That's cool.
It's cool theming so far.
Yeah, it's definitely a ride for the thematics. Oh, God.
Whoa.
It's like Legend. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that was supposed to be mid-course.
I didn't see the tires, so I think it was just meant to be a trim.
Hmm. It's a long ride. Oh, okay.
Huh.
Does
Okay.
It makes it. Okay. So, okay, I'm also noticing how, like, not steep this lift hill is at all. So the lift hill is super long. For realism, I mean, it's not as bad as that one coaster from earlier. So, I'll go with a 3.
I'm gonna agree with the 3 here as well. I feel like the lift hill is like way too narrow. Way too narrow. You can easily like fit other things in there. There's the banking's very minimal, which I'll get into in smoothness, and the
This was a
brake run.
mid-course. This is a mid-course.
Oh, okay, so that's supposed to be the mid course. Okay. But then the brake run having to go up, it just wouldn't work. That's why I'm gonna give it a 2.
I'll give it a 3.
Well, that's going to give them a 2.67 for the realism. Smoothness, I mean, it's not, well, no, that's not true. It's not really that smooth. I will give you a 5 for smoothness because it could be worse. It could be much more jerky.
I'm gonna give it a 3 based on the banking. The banking is like very minimal, if any.
Ooh, okay. Maybe I'm gonna drop to a 4 for seeing that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 3.
That's 2 3s and a 4. We're just gonna give it a 3.33. Next up, we have theming / presentation, which is definitely the ride's strong point. I love this like grotto here. There's a lot of really cool interactives. You can definitely see the story coming to life. That being said, there's definitely a lot of dull spots. But I do like this. This is a really nice little thing right here. So there's parts of it that are really nice and other parts that are a little bit lacking. So I'm going to give you a 4.
I'm gonna give it a 3 since it feels like it's half really good and half nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.
I was going to average out to a 3.33. Finally, creativity. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't creative. I mean, that's for sure. Is it creative in a good way? Maybe the layout, not so much, but the theme and the way that oh, whoa, I didn't even see that. The way that the layout interacts with the theme is pretty cool. So I'll give it a 3.
I'm gonna give it a 3 as well for being creative. The theming part was really nice and how it sets up. I just think the ride could use some work.
I don't like. I'd give it a 2.
Well, that is going to average out to a 2.67, giving this ride a 12 out of 30. And now it's time for the final one of the night before we put a pause in this and return to it tomorrow. Coaster number 26.
Alright, this is by Corolla SE Archangel. The description is take your first flight through the abyss on Archangel. This beast of a ride will take you up over 300 feet into the air and drop you at 96 miles per hour. You'll experience whippy inversions along with some world-class ejector airtime.
This ride is a mock Giga with a very nice set of custom supports all over the place.
It's like a really takes heavy inspiration from Hyperia.
Yes. Holy.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh!
Whoa.
Jesus. Oh, can't see. There we go. Very inverted. That's a cool element. Alrighty, that was an interesting one. So, just taking a look at the G's, because I did it spiked a little bit. Got a max of 5.16 and negative peak of negative 1.87. So, realism, most of this is actually pretty realistic. I just think some, like, this whole first bit here is a little insane with how fast-paced, especially this double, like, rolling thing. It looks crazy cool, but it's probably a little too much articulation at that speed. So I will be giving you, I'll give you an 8 for realism.
I'm gonna give it a 6 for realism. I feel like towards the end it was going to be really good, but like this first part, the versions are just taken way, way, way too quickly. Especially that one right there, which is kind of, if you just made that like into a valley, I think it would have been fine. I'm gonna give it a 6 for realism.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. It does a lot of stuff well, but also some stuff is kind of just absurd.
So I'm going to give you a 7 for realism. Next is smoothness, and for the most part, this is actually very smooth. There's some moments where it's a little jarring, especially I noticed the first drop after this, it like snaps back and forth really aggressively a little bit here, kind of like shuffling. So I will give you an 8 because for the most part, it does a very smooth ride.
It kind of has like, I don't know, it kind of reminded me a little bit of an Aero Shuffle.
Yeah.
In a sense, and like, or like a modern coaster like Rattle, kind of was giving that. If you like watch it from like a back row POV, and you see like the train shuffling through. I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, I'll go to 7.
What'd you say for yours, Colin?
I think I said an 8.
8, sweet.
So that's an equal out to 7.33. Now we have the theming slash presentation, which I am going to get off the ride to see that. Alright, so you got a very nice entrance sign. That's really cool. And then not much of a queue. Kind of go over here a little bit. You got the station, which is fairly nice. Like the exit goes down underneath the transfer. So the transfer track, oh yeah, the transfer shed's built into the station. Very cool. And then during the ride itself, there's not really much. There's this tunnel and some, you know, shrubbery. And it looks like this is just kind of a park you might have pulled off of the workshop with the driveway and everything. So I'll probably have to give you a 2.
I'll give it a 3 for theming. There's like some rock work, some trees, some tunnel work, and like a cool maintenance shed and everything.
I'm going to 3.
What's that? Way 2.67 for the theming. And finally, creativity. Other than the like kind of obvious copy of Hyperia at the start, this is a very unique layout while also staying very true to what Mach would do. So I'm gonna give you a 4 for creativity. I really like the layout.
I'm gonna give you a 4 as well. It looks really nice. I like the take on the barrel roll at the bottom of that first stall there, right there.
That's crazy.
However, it's not realistic. I like the creativity. I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 too.
It is 4s across the board for creativity, which gives you a 21 out of 30. And that is the end of our first part of the judging for these coasters. I guess I kind of underestimated how long it would take because we definitely need to stop there. So tomorrow night, make sure you are in the Unload Station Discord server, whether you're already watching in here now or you're on YouTube. Join the Unload Station, and we will put out an announcement when that will take place for the One Planet Coaster 1 coaster and the 9 No Limits 2 coasters, and they will be judged, and we'll have the final rankings tomorrow. But hopefully you guys enjoyed us going through these Planet Coaster 2 coasters. I know I'm very tired, and I think I speak for Vinny and Aaron in that statement as well. So, YouTube, everyone, have a good night. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the Unload Station Discord server. And that's it for YouTube. Unload Station. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, just tune back in tomorrow.